this week on Weekly Out Loud News. So I saw on Daily Mail and the New York Post that COVID is running rampant in China, which we all know is true. But there's a story out there that the cemeteries and the cremations and everything is getting backed up, and people are resorting to burning their deceased family members in the streets. Now, everyone was like, "Oh, this is fake news, fake news. New York Post is not reliable. Daily Mail is not reliable. They're tabloids." And yes, it could be false. Like I said, I did my research. I did my due diligence. I saw it. I mean, you put it in Google and there was literally like 20 or 30 places reporting on it. But is it really that far-fetched? What up? Yes, it is your boy, Trent Out Loud. And I'm back with the first official... Oh my gosh, I caught my mic. I'm back with the first official Trent Out Loud news of the year. What is up, y'all? I hope you guys had a great New Year. I did do a couple of like add-ins over the holidays. I hope you guys checked that out. But this is the first official like weekly wrap-up where we're going to be doing the news of the week wrap-up. So I said what I had to say in the 22 wrap-up and the welcome backs and all of that. So for those who didn't see it, Happy New Year. Welcome to 2023. Let's get into the news of this week. Okay, so, it's only the 5th or the 6th today, and it started off being a slow week, but today, I had like crazy amounts of posts on Exo City Entertainment blog, so let me jump into it. Okay, first, I actually think this happened a little bit before the new year, but I wanted to discuss it. Rolling Stones, 200 Greatest Singers, and Celine Dion was not on the list. Is there a boo button here? Like, this is crazy. This is, at least, that's laughable, all right? I don't have a boo button, but it's laughable. You guys know, or for those who do know, I'm from Montreal, and Celine Dion, they say 1 in every 3 households in Quebec has a Celine Dion album. And Canada, Jamaica has adopted Celine Dion as their one of their favorite singers. And she's a global icon. So how could Rolling Stones, even if you want to say you don't have her in your top 10, which she should be in your top 10, but you have to think Rolling Stones knew what they were doing, right? Because it caused outrage. Everybody tweeted about it. Everybody talked about it. Every blog posted about it. And, if you look at their top 10 was Aretha Franklin. Number 2 is Whitney Houston. Number 3, Sam Cooke. Number 4, Billie Holiday. Number 5, Mariah Carey. Number 6, Ray Charles. Number 7, Stevie Wonder. Number 8, Beyonce. Number 9, Otis Redding. And number 10, Al Green. I don't want to get into debating on the list. I just have to say, obviously Celine Dion should have made the list of top 200. I think she would be... she would definitely be in my top 10. But more importantly, you got to know when people are making these lists. Rolling Stones is like one of the most recognized music magazines of all times. You have to know that they did put her on the list for a reason, to cause controversy, to cause, things to go viral. So, I kind of fell for it because I'm talking about it on my podcast, like the first official Trend Out Loud news for the year. But hey, if it worked, it worked. But just know that, I'm cognizant of the tricks that they're playing on me. All right. Second thing is, this is another thing that I touched on during the holiday. Andrew Tate was arrested. I posted it. A lot of people were like, yeah, because he was arrested for sex trafficking and rape. And then he was let out the next day. By the time I did the podcast about it, put it up, it was like 11, 12 o'clock at night. I woke up at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, and it was already like he's out of jail. He wasn't really arrested for sex trafficking. It was for money laundering. But now, I think it was like January the 2nd or the 3rd, 11 of his luxury cars, including his most notable car, his Bugatti, his $3 million Bugatti, was seized of part of an ongoing investigation with his sex trafficking case, if you want to call it that. But it's just shocking to me, the people online who are still such Andrew Tate supporters, and it's like, there's no way he could do this and no way he could do that. Like, he could do no wrong. And again, you're innocent to proven guilty. Like, I have some trust in the legal system. I get it. Not much trust, I would say, but there's a process in the legal system that we have to go through. So I try to at least wait to hear, some of the evidence before I judge. But I will say this is something that I heard. Sex trafficking is not automatically kidnapping. I'm tying you up. You're yelling, screaming. I saw online where there's a lover boy. Can't remember the exact term, but you guys can Google it. But it's like a lover boy sex trafficking, where it's like almost kind of like pimping, where it's you con the girl. Hey, I really like you. You're really pretty. Yo, why don't you come over to my house? Then when she's there, like you start, dating. And then it's like, hey, maybe you could help me out. Maybe we could start an OnlyFans page and maybe we could do video. And then it's like you're conning. And, if you have like one guy who's doing this to a girl and, because I'm sure there's guys out there who's like, yo, babe, you want to make some extra money? Let's, take some pictures. Let's do, there's couples that do stuff and put it on Pornhub or whatever. But when you have 10, 15, 20 girls, and it's like, some of them are like, I really don't feel comfortable. Like, anyways, I'm just saying, it's just that all you Andrew Tate supporters out there who don't think that's possible, and there's a lot of like, ups and downs with the stories if you do your research, just know that sex trafficking is not only, holding somebody against their will, tied down. It could be a lot of coercion. It could be a lot of, instilling fear in somebody, thinking, that they will do harm to you if they don't get on camera and do these sexual acts. There's a lot of levels to sex trafficking, and there's clearly something going on there. The police can't come and just seize 11 of your luxury cars, close to $10 million. They've arrested him twice on it. There's clearly an ongoing investigation. So there's got to be something funny going on in there. There's got to be something. But again, I don't want to judge too much because, I like I said, I want to have some trust in the process, and everybody has a right to their time in court to prove their innocence. All right, next story is Damar Hamlin. He is awake. Yo, round of applause. Woo! Round of applause for the Cincinnati Medical Hospital that has been giving him, round the clock care, and the NFL and the trainers. I already did, like I said, I did a small podcast on that already. But the update, of course, for those who maybe missed the podcast or haven't heard it on the news, this was a Buffalo Bills safety. He got hit on the field, fell down, and went into cardiac arrest and had to revive him on the field. And he is in hospital. He is awake. And what I found really, really cool about this story is that he, I think it was today or yesterday, he's not speaking it, but he's writing notes. And one of the first things he said to ask his doctors is if the team won the game. And like, this man doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know, like, he's out of it, and he's literally just coming out of a coma, and he's asking his team, he's asking his doctors if his team won. Spending, half my life being an athlete, like, I like the that sign of competitiveness that he's showing. I just thought it was really touching, and it just shows that he's definitely back to, at least mentally, things are looking like they're working, if that's what he's thinking about. And talking about athletes, I just want to give a shout out to Pele, who passed away, arguably, the greatest soccer player of all times, member of the Brazilian team. He passed away, if I'm not mistaken, at 82 years old. Pele passed away, so I just wanted to send an RIP to Pele. All right, next in news, touching on the stock market really quickly. 2023 doesn't look like it's starting out to be very good in the stock market. Tech stocks are down, Tesla's down, and again, I posted about this, and just I was reading up about it and following on Yahoo Finance, and It doesn't look like we're anywhere near the bottom. It still looks like a very bearish market. And over the holidays, I was talking with somebody and they were like, yeah, I think, and I heard that interest rates might keep on hiking up till maybe 9 or 10%. And what does that mean for mortgages? And it's just like, it's just a little bit of a scary time, man. And I don't know about you guys, but when the rates started, when the Canadian government and the US started increasing interest rates, I was like, okay, I get it. Inflation is high, et cetera, et cetera. And, in business, I'm used to this, right? Things are up, things are down, and you need things to level out, right? Home prices, gas prices, everything was skyrocketing. Of course, you need to bring stuff down. The stock market, everything was crazy. But I am starting to get a little bit worried about how long it's going to take us to get to our bottom and where that bottom is. Anyways, I just thought it was something to bring up and keep an eye on. And I'm interested to know, what you guys think about that, and how scared are you guys, and what are your plans? Like, what do we do? What do we do if you sign a 5-year mortgage at 1% or 2%, and by the time you're up, if you're in a variable, or if you're in a 2-year or 3-year or 5-year, by the time that you got to go back and sign and you're at 8 or 9%, like, what's that going to mean for the economy? What's that going to mean for just everything going forward, man? It's just a really scary time. A little bit in sad news too. Stephen Twitch boss was laid to rest in a private ceremony. Posted about that. Still just really sad, and I just wanted to make sure that we continue talking about it. I think in one of the podcasts I also mentioned, like, I hate when people post about something traumatic and then the next day or the next few days, like, that's totally forgotten about, right? So I just wanted to give a shout out to Twitch, and everybody just remembered, when he committed suicide, how adamant you were about talking about mental health and talking to your friends and reaching out. So at the start of the year, maybe reach out to your friends or family members or somebody who you didn't see. Say Happy New Year to them. How's it going? How was your New Year's, et cetera, et cetera. And just remember that we all need each other. All right. Another story. I posted this today, and I didn't know if I wanted to talk about this on the podcast, but so I saw on Daily Mail and the New York Post that COVID is running rampant in China, which we all know is true. But there's a story out there that the cemeteries and the cremations and everything is getting backed up, and people are resorting to burning their deceased family members in the streets. Now, everyone was like, "Oh, this is fake news. New York Post is not reliable. Daily Mail is not reliable. They're tabloids." And yes, it could be false. Like I said, I did my research. I did my due diligence. I saw it. I mean, you put it in Google, and there was literally like 20 or 30 places reporting on it. But is it really that far-fetched with the cases and with everything that's going on out there? Now, it's not saying that there's millions of bodies burning. It could have been one family that was a poor family that, maybe that, the prices are increasing because they have so many and they can't keep up with demand. And this family was like, shoot, we can't afford this, and let's just cremate our family member out in the street. More importantly, I think, is that we can't just forget about COVID. And that was the most important reason for me posting it. And I reached out to a friend of mine who lives in Japan, and he teaches, well, he used to live in China for 10 years, and he still teaches students virtually in China from Japan. And he was one of the guys I reached out to, shout out to JJ. And I was like, yo, is this story real? And, he explained to me quickly of why, so many people are getting COVID in China. And I just wanted to explain it to you. And he even said that this story is really not too far-fetched. So it had a zero tolerance with COVID. Everything was locked down, et cetera, et cetera. Then they started protesting. Let us out, let us free, whatever. Then the government was like, okay, you guys want to protest? You guys want to be free. You don't want any of these restrictions. So they took all the restrictions away. But what he was explaining to me is that with the amount of people and the amount of poverty and the amount of, it's like, it's not Canada with, 40 something million people. You're talking about like close to 2 billion people. So the country just opened up, and he said they don't have the Pfizer vaccines and or even if they do have the Pfizer vaccines, it's not as accessible, and the protocols and all of these things. So he said that every single one of his students caught COVID. So, no, it doesn't mean if you catch COVID that you're going to die. No, it doesn't mean that every single person that's dying in China is not being buried or not being cremated. But it does mean that COVID is still out there, that COVID is still an issue, and it's something that we should be paying attention to, is all the reason why I made that post. And I decided to keep it up. And like I said, I don't just post randomly. I Google, I look, I check, and I reach out to somebody in China, and he was like, yeah, post it. All right, our next story, Julia Fox is back in the headlines. For those of you who don't remember, Julia Fox was the star of Uncut Gems, and of course, probably most famously known for dating Kanye West. I think it was at the top of the year, like in January. Anyways, she was on a talk show, and then somebody asked her favorite celebrity date, and she was like, "Oh, I can't say the name. I can't say who it is, but what I can say is that I was on a private jet, and then we landed, and then we bought a couple of Chanel bags, and then we were like cuddling on the jet, and then it cuts, and then I guess maybe it was in another segment, and then it was like, oh, people are saying that date you were on was with Drake, and then she's like, okay, maybe. You shouldn't have gave me those shots. And I'm just saying, like, I just thought that was really, kind of dirty of her to do. Like, she's out there, she's whatever. I don't think she has the attention that she was getting, after she was with Kanye or broke up with Kanye. And it's like, yo, why are you going to throw, whether the story is real or fake, and if it is fake, it's even worse. But if this guy took you out on a date and, it's not public, it's not something that you guys have discussed, like, why are you going to go on a talk show and be like, yeah, maybe it was Drake, just so that you could get, a headline for a day? Like, I just thought that was super whack. A lot of people don't believe it because, she's really changed up her look. Like in Uncut Gems, she, had a certain appeal, and I think everybody was into her. And now she's more in the fashion world. Like, she shaved off her eyebrows, and she's, definitely has this different look to her now. But I mean, in Uncut Gems, and before she changed over to this look, she was, there's a reason why Kanye was flying her around, man. So all these people who are like, oh my gosh, that's not Drake's type, just want to highlight that that it's, if he did take her out on his jet on a date, I'm pretty sure it wasn't this Julia Fox now that we're seeing. I think it was probably like, the 2021 version or the early Kanye version. And also the last bit of information is that, that Drake is like a war expert. You know what I mean? Kanye already told us how crazy Drake is, like, sending messages to Kris Jenner, talking with Kim. Kanye said, Drake won't just sleep with your girls. He'll sleep with your girls' cousins, his sisters, her friends to get back at you. Like, Drake is serious. So who knows, man? Maybe he did take her out, the new Julia Fox, the fashion Julia Fox, but maybe he did that, to get back at Kanye. Like, who knows? Anyways, all right. In other COVID news, do y'all remember Chris Sky? And if you don't, I have a little bio here. Chris Sky is a Canadian conspiracy theorist known for his involvement in the anti-mask, anti-lockdown, COVID-19 denial, and anti-vaccine movement during the COVID-19 pandemic. So I posted the China post about families, burning their loved ones in the street. And then somebody was like, yo, if you guys want to come to the Chris Sky trial tomorrow, happening at 444 Yonge Street at 10 a.m. So I was like, I remember this dude, man. And he was one of the first ones to, because when COVID first hit, nobody was too much in like denial of, not denial, but nobody was like too speculative of it. People were just like, oh my gosh, COVID, I'm afraid. And then it started being like, yo, what's going on here? And this is just kind of poking holes. Chris Guy was one of the first ones to come out and be like, yo, this is bullshit. The government is doing this. This is coming at you or whatever. And then, of course, that led into like a lot of people talking about it. And then, of course, as we know, like the Freedom Convoy and et cetera, et cetera. But anyways, I just thought it would be interesting to see like, yo, what's Chris Guy up to now? And I think he was saying that he is on trial for threatening, it's online, but threatening police officers, threatening Doug Ford, etc. So by the time this posts Friday, January the 6th, I don't know if it's too late, but whoever wants to go out to the trial, go out there and see what's going on. It is happening at 444 Yonge Street at 10 a.m. So I just wanted to post about that. And the last piece of news I have for you guys is Canada World Juniors team has won the gold medal. Whoa! Yes, yes. That just happened January the 5th. We are back-to-back World Junior gold medal champions. So I just want to say shout out to the whole team. There's not much more I could say about that because like, yo, I don't really follow hockey that much, but I am a Canadian. I am a proud Canadian, and anything that we win, anything that we come gold medals, anything that we get a gold medal in, and especially back to back, yo, I'm all here for it. So shout out to the World Juniors team. All right, you guys, that's it for me. That's a wrap for this week on Weekly Out Loud News. It was a little bit of a slow news week. Thank the Lord that the past 2 days we got some news and things to talk about with you guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It's your boy, Trent Out Loud. Hey, yes, and I'm out. Peace.